Item 6G, consideration of Winchell Building on Main Street. Adam, I guess I'll call on you. Yeah.
I received a correspondence, actually two correspondence from D. Winchell. The first one described an offer of deeding the property to the city with the addition of an award of funds, $5,500 donation towards the activity of resolving the issues on the property. I also received a second communication from them. They brought up a structural engineer. We have discussed that previously. I believe we did at the last council meeting. You will see that in your packet as well. You'll see it's marked at the top S cube. There'll be a little S for the 3 on the other side of the page. It's dated September 16, 2010. It is the assessment made by a structural engineer who did the visit with Ms. Winchell when they came up last month.
That's one she hired?
Correct.
What were the findings of the
And it
structural
basically says that if anything is, if there's any demolition done, we should have somebody on site there, and we probably should hire our own structural engineer.
Well, there's one paragraph. I'll just read the paragraph. It says, after a preliminary investigation, my initial recommendation would be to first attach the roof joist at their parent location and remove the joist. Then provide the parting walls are independent from the adjacent building. I would recommend removing the first floor parting walls. Next, the first floor joists would be removed in the same fashion as the roof joist. I would recommend leaving the basement foundation walls in place. If the basement is to be filled in, the existing foundation walls will need to be structurally evaluated to determine if additional measures need to be taken to prevent structural damage to the adjacent buildings. Again, these are preliminary recommendations made on a cursory review. A more in-depth site investigation is required to determine the exact construction and detailing of the building interfaces. It is recommended this investigation take place with the contractor on site, as localized destructive investigation may be required to determine exact detailing and dimensions.
Would you share a copy of that with us?
I'm sorry?
Would you like to share a copy of that with us?
Sure, I'd be happy to after the meeting. Just hit me up.
And give you a little bit of a background, on September 8th, Barb and Adam and I went down and visited with D. Winchell and her father Russell at their law firm just to see if we could get some things rolling and perhaps come to some type of an agreement with the Winchells on the building down there. So that's kind of what initiated this process here.
I have consulted the city attorney on the matter. His initial surface recommendation would be to not accept the offer made by the Winchells. However, he said in the alternative, if it was the choice of the council to do so, he would recommend that an alternative offer be made that we will accept deed of the property after the demolition has been completed. That was his recommendation to the council.
You want a motion to that effect? Or do we got to do it?
It's just a discussion at this
I
point.
just more-
I mean, you can make a motion towards doing any action you want.
We gotta get more money out of them. $5,000 won't go very far.
What's everyone else's thinking?
I think you should get an opinion of another structural engineer. I think this little gal said take every precaution possible in tearing down this building. It sounds like to me, doesn't it?
Yes, and then where is the responsibility? I mean, why is it our responsibility to do that? I mean,
Right.
our city doesn't own that building.
That's true. I don't know.
It's really very
How much
hard to
does it cost to
understand.
hire a structural engineer to do that?
I received a couple estimates back. I was actually ready to move forward on hiring with somebody when I was informed she was going to be up here with a structural engineer. I received, it sounds like we can get it down for $1,500. Now, that just includes the actual inspection. That would not include having somebody on site during the
Just the
demolition.
shell us.
Yeah, that's where,
Since we
when I talk about
already voted on that,
$5,000,
I
that
think we
includes
should
having
do
somebody
that.
on site.
Because
Yeah, that's already been done.
we've made a motion to spend up to $5,000.
Council, would you like to move forward on that?
Let's just hire the engineering down and put this on hold and see what happens.
So you want to move forward?
Just move
You've
it.
already provided me that through motion, so you
Right.
don't need to do it.
Okay.
How should we proceed with the windshields?
I believe you just tell them that we've decided to hire our own engineer, and that's as far as our decision
There wasn't
has
any
gone
that.
at this
Yeah.
point in time.
Well, I don't want the city, I really don't think the city needs to take possession of the liability of this. You know, I wouldn't mind, I'm just not so sure that that's what.
I think move was step number one,
Yep.
and see, and then negotiate the next step.
Let's see what step one brings us.
And then maybe you can get estimates as to what it's gonna cost to tear it down, and then go back to Wenzel's and say, well, you know, 5,500 is nice, but it's actually gonna cost this much money to tear it down. So, here's
We
where we're
kind of
at.
did speak to that subject,
Yeah.
but we needed to have it in writing probably.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well, this structural engineer, if we get a couple guys in there, local contractors to look at it, and they say, this is what it's gonna cost, and then, you're saying then we present that as a fact to Winchell's to go, hey, this is what it's gonna cost to tear it down.
First, we need to move forward
Yeah.
with him, and then get that information and go to
Can
the
we have-
next step.
The local contractors available when the structural engineer comes to walk through what,
Do you have anybody
would that be
else?
allowed?
I can check with veterans and Borchers and see if
Because
Both
they'd
or
like to
one
go
can
through
be
with the
available
structural
during the
engineer, so
process.
they can hear to put together what they think they need to do then.
That's a little tricky, because how are you gonna let them all know? And then if
Yeah,
you don't let them all know,
you
some of
can
them
get
are gonna
somebody
be
that-
upset because they didn't get asked. So what's your suggestion,
How many contractors are there in Sac City that would do a demolition? 2?
we had two that we originally talked to about giving us rough best.
If there isn't
Okay.
anybody else, you get both of them there and
Probably the new car dealership downtown.
they're quick. They're quick.
They don't use them.
Okay, let's go on, please. Okay? Do we have any other discussion on the Winchell building? We are going to hire the structural engineer. Okay?